We've got a terrific agenda this morning, and I really want to get it turned over to our first speaker, David Rowan. David is the founder of Wired UK, and he's now going to speak to us about what super intelligent AI, artificial intelligence, means for the passenger experience. I think we can all learn something. David, welcome.
A couple of things woke me up in the last week. The first one was a little movie created by a singer-songwriter from his bedroom in Brooklyn. Billy Woodward doesn't have the billions of dollars of Pixar, but he wanted to make a Pixar-style 8-minute movie using these AI tools, Nano, Banana, Midjourney, a whole bunch of others. He did it for hardly any money. The quality would have been impossible 6 months ago. Can you imagine 5 years ago? Things are moving quicker than our expectations. The second thing that woke me up, Saturday last week, this gentleman who was one of the lead researchers at DeepMind. His was the first name on the AlphaGo paper. He's now working at Anthropic, but he published a blog post that was a wake-up call. He got frustrated that the conversation is generally dismissive of AI as a hype bubble, or people have errors that they notice when they ask ChatGPT a question. And he was trying to wake us up to the fact that we don't understand exponentials. And he was talking about how in 2020, January, February, there were these reports of a new kind of flu, and the mainstream conversation was dismissing it, saying it's going to be a localized problem, it's not going to be a big problem. And he was pointing out that exponential growth catches you before you're comfortable. And at the moment with AI, the ability of a language model to perform a task is doubling every 7 months or so. He quoted a study by OpenAI that looked at 44 different job categories where very, very soon the AI is going to be as good as the best performing human. And if you look at the rollout of different AI language models over the last few months and a couple of years, that black horizontal dot is as good as an industry expert. From Gemini 2.5 to ChatGPT 5, it's getting more and more human-like. Why does this matter? Because your customers are starting to take for granted the magic that AI has. So this is the prediction from the guy at Anthropic. By next year, an AI will be able to do an 8-hour human task, but more efficiently. By the end of 2027, on many tasks, the AI will be better than a human. And why it matters comes back to this photograph that was sent to me when I was starting to edit Wired in London. And I was told this is what's going to define the stories that Wired covers. It's from 1956. It's 5 megs of computer storage from IBM being uploaded to the cloud, which, if you think about it, is one photo on your iPhone because of those exponential curves. Stuff that was expensive and scarce over time becomes ubiquitous and free. And we have never been in a moment when the exponential curves have been so steep. This is the founder of NVIDIA last year when he unveiled a new chip. The graph behind him pointed out that in the previous 8 years, the performance of NVIDIA chips had gone up 1,000-fold. This is AI's ability to do tasks that previously only humans could do over the last quarter century. The black horizontal line is as good as a human. On the left, the blue line recognizing handwriting took a while, 2012, 2013, it got there. But look on the right, almost vertical, writing code, understanding common sense queries. You cannot argue against curves that steep, which means stuff you dismiss today, the quality of Midjourney pictures, tomorrow is going to be, oh my goodness, I don't need to hire a photographer. It's going to change the rules. And it's not just AI models. The same is happening with robotics. NVIDIA has partnered with Disney and DeepMind to create these self-learning robots. This trend of the robots learning, this is a Google project. Tell the robot to find the corn chips in the drawer. Don't tell it what corn chips are, what the drawer is. It will make mistakes, but eventually it will get there. The investor, Vinod Khosla, is thinking quite seriously that the autonomous humanoid robots that are coming are going to be bigger than the car industry.
In the next 15, 20 years, then all of the auto business. If I'd suggested 5, 7 years ago that Tesla would be more valuable than the next 10 auto companies combined, and I know their stock price has been going down, everybody would have laughed with me. They will laugh today if I say the humanoid robotics business will be larger than the auto business in the next 20 years.
This is Eric Schmidt. This is a talk he recently gave, or an interview, when he talked about what's going to happen as this curve gets steeper over the next 5, 6 years. He talked about a super intelligence.
One way to say this is that within 3 to 5 years, we'll have what is called general intelligence, AGI, which can be defined as a system that is as smart as the smartest mathematician, physicist, artist, writer, thinker, politician. It gets much more interesting after that. Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. We call that superintelligence, or ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans. The San Francisco consensus is this occurs within 6 years, just based on scaling. This path is not understood in our society. There's no language for what happens with the arrival of this. That's why it's underhyped.
And even if you're in a regulated industry that's safety first, this is not going to escape you, because the expectations of the people developing the technologies, traveling in the planes, running the retail in the airport, the expectations are going to constantly be updated. Now, we use words like technology for when something doesn't work. I'm giving a talk, I'm telling stories. If the microphone stopped working, it would be the technology. And I think the impact of this super intelligent AI is going to mean the whole idea of travel just becomes invisible. This is a 3-pronged torture instrument that the Romans used when their slaves weren't doing what they wanted. The word tropalium is the root of the word travel. Because in the Middle Ages, for a lot of our history, it was incredibly painful and stressful. That word, because of AI, has the potential to disappear. We won't even think about luggage. It will just get there. When I wrote a book about innovation, I went to the UAE, and the head of the Future Foundation was telling me their vision is you don't even need to go to the airport to check in. You use a taxi in the city. You just have your face scanned in the taxi. It will know who you are, drive you straight to the gate. He said, why do people want to spend more time than needed going through various hurdles in the airport? So we're already getting the start of this, the biometrics, the single token, the knowing who you are. We have the power to get rid of the queue because we can direct people. Everybody's carrying these very powerful computers. We should not need, at some stage soon, the day after tomorrow, to have any lost luggage. We should have proactive AIs rerouting our personalized journey in advance and telling us the risk of a missed connection. It shouldn't be reactive, it should be proactive. This is what AI does. We will have more autonomous forms of transport in, around the aviation experience. And we will also use the ability of the AI to analyze data to cut some of the carbon emissions. This is a Google project where they're using AI to limit contrails?
Contrail avoidance is very complicated. There's a weather database, which is huge. There's a flight database, which is huge. There's a satellites data, that's also huge. But getting big databases together is something we're good at. Contrail prediction is actually quite difficult because weather forecasts don't do the greatest job predicting humidity that high up. So we're taking sort of a different approach using image recognition and satellite data.
So
All these satellites.
everywhere you look, the ability to process data at scale, to personalize the experience, to understand the emotional needs of that individual, to track carbon emissions and minimize them, AI is enabling that. And the price point and the ubiquity, well, it's a no-brainer. And the human is still emotionally led. When London started telling you how long it was going to take for the bus to come, it doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes, you know. You don't have this anxiety about should I wait, shouldn't I wait. And there's already here, you can walk around the room, lots of examples of startups helping minimize the friction, dealing with the luggage wherever you are so you don't have to check in. But something's been happening in a lot of the fast growth tech companies in the last few months. Whether it's Duolingo, whether it's the freelance platform, Fiverr, whether it's Shopify, each of those companies and many more, the CEOs have been sending memos around to everybody in the company saying, we're not going to allow you to hire more people unless you can prove that AI can't do their job. The head of Fiverr, the freelance platform, said, you know, everybody is at risk of AI, including me as the CEO. I have to justify that I have the human skills and I can work alongside the AI. And I think this is how we're going to be thinking about AI, or rather this. It's electricity. It's everywhere. It's a commodity. It's ubiquitous. We won't talk about it as AI, just as we are not talking about this as an electricity-generated image. We worry about what it's going to mean for our work, for the way we've been living, for the way we've been running things. This is the head of Netflix, asked recently by the New York Times when he thinks there will be an AI-generated series on Netflix. Do we have some sound? Do we have some sound?
There's not a scenario, I don't believe, that an AI program is going to write a better screenplay than a great writer. Or going to replace a great performance, or we won't be able to tell the difference. AI is not going to take your job. The person who uses AI well might take your job.
AI is not going to take your job, but the person who uses AI well might take your job. So I think we need to get uncomfortable. We need to, as humans, carbon life forms, be comfortable with the idea that the rules are going to keep changing. We can't wait for Brussels, Federal Aviation Authority, the regulators to tell us what we can do. We need to start experimenting, getting comfortable with this technology, because before we're comfortable, because of those curves, it's going to change expectations. It already has changed expectations. And if you look back at how we've dealt with major waves of technological change in history, we often get a few things wrong. So first, we tend to belittle it, make jokes about it. This is 1946, when a new kind of computational machine was unveiled.
Are people becoming obsolete? A giant electronic brain is starting cogitating at the University of Pennsylvania. It's made of vacuum tubes like your radio, and it can add up a column of figures a yard long in a second. It's the world's first electronic computer. Right now, it's solving mathematical problems for the U.S. Army, but who knows? Someday a machine like this may check up on your income tax.
Who knows? Someday it may check up on your income taxes. The second thing we often get wrong is we see this emerging technology as exotic. It is only going to be relevant to fringe groups. In the late 80s, early 90s, there was this new tech that was called the spreadsheet. VisiCalc, Excel. And at the beginning, it was just for people in those financial services companies.
This isn't good enough to present. You can't show her this.
Oh, ye of little faith.
I really think she'd buy the bus store.
With a click on the auto format, our superhero shops through several...
And we didn't really see then that it was going to be an everyday mainstream item that we didn't even think about as the price point drops. And the third thing we often get wrong is think, well, we're dominant in our fields. We don't need to worry about this because people already are showing that they want our way of doing things. 2007, Steve Jobs announces the iPhone, and the head of another big tech company that was making smartphones was asked on television whether he saw this as a threat.
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine.
How did that work out, Steve Ballmer at Microsoft? So psychology is the problem, not technology. Technology is there for all of us to come and use. It's our resistance.
What's this?
Because this is happening now.
Make a UGC-style ad promoting...
There are hundreds of companies like HeyGen that are making your marketing presentations, your ads, your decks, your emails much more efficiently and at scale and personalized than the humans can do. Every day there's some crazy new ability for the AI to do something magical. Ethan Molik, who writes and teaches about AI, was playing with VO3, gave it a little prompt saying, write me a Hollywood musical about garlic bread.
Garlic bread, my heart's true desire. With every
It writes the music, it does the video, it performs. Then he said, okay, forget the Hollywood movie, let's do amateur dramatics doing a Shakespearean act about garlic bread.
Hey, nonny, nonny, 'tis time for thy garlic.
So we're at a world moment where this is just the beginning. And it's going to affect pretty much everything. We've got memes with AI-generated characters denying they're AI-generated characters. They are against the prompt theory.
Make a multiplayer flight simulator that's going to make me rich. See, this is all just hype. Engineers are not going anywhere. You can't just one-shot a flight simulator.
We've got vibe coding. Anybody now can go to Cursor or one of these other software apps and get them to write software for you. We've got every week something new comes along. The new AirPods translate in real time with the person who's also wearing AirPods. We've got every industrial sector playing with this. This is a Chinese company that makes kitchen equipment that started to put AI language models in the ovens so that they know who you are. They can suggest recipes. Are you pregnant? Are you trying to lose weight? Blah, blah, blah. This is the head of Duolingo talking about, just for his industry, how much more efficient AI is less.
Massive accelerant. We just released 148 new courses. And it took us only 1 year to do this. For comparison, the previous 100+ courses took us 12 years.
So we don't have to persuade you that things are moving at a crazy pace. This is the fastest ever adopted technology into the mainstream world. And it's already overtaking the norm. In San Francisco, there are more AI autonomous Waymo cars than human-driven Ubers because they're safer, 90% fewer accidents because the sensors, they avoid collisions. And yet we think AI is moving so fast, it's kind of out of control.
This morning, this video going viral, showing a self-driving car being pulled over by police in San Francisco.
This is crazy.
The car was pulled over because it was driving at night without headlights on. At first, it looks like an ordinary traffic stop. An officer gets out of his car to speak to the driver, only to discover
ain't nobody in it.
And then the car speeds away from the officers, passing through an intersection.
Because the car is smart. It knows it's safe for the other side of the red light. Cruise, that runs this car, had one accident that was well publicized. It took all its cars off the road. It probably killed more people by not having the autonomous transport there. So I'm from the old world of storytelling, and I wrote a book in search of innovation, and I've been disrupted too. I know what it feels like to be disrupted. I was asked by the publisher to record the audiobook version, so I spent 3 days in a windowless room, and then I realized there was an AI that could have done it in a couple of hours, or a couple of minutes.
Audiobook in just 10 minutes. Now you can using audiobook.ai.
And then I saw that there was an app that could have written the book for me that I had wasted 6 months doing. But I think we all need to get comfortable with disruption, with the idea that the way we've been doing things is changing. So 3 things I learned from my book about how to stay on top of a moment like this. And the first, don't assume everything you've known as fact until now is going to stay fact. You have to be comfortable with kind of unlearning and relearning. I know a film director, Shekhar Kapoor, who makes Oscar-winning movies with hundreds of people on set, like Elizabeth. And I said to him, you must be very upset that AI is now doing a lot of what you're doing. He said, you're completely wrong. It's a tool. It's the most exciting tool I've played with since I played with camera lenses for the first time. I want people on my film set, not who've done great things at film school, but who are really good at prompting. I had to reconsider. I thought AI therapists could never cope with their human patients like a real human therapist. A lot of teens, 20-somethings, are using Replica to confess things to. There was a paper published last year. They looked at a few thousand people using this, and about 30% of them saying talking to their AI avatar therapist had prevented self-harm. I had to unlearn. The second thing I'm learning is, I don't mean airplane collisions. I mean you have to get people who don't normally talk to each other knocking their ideas together. And it could be the way you design your office. This is the biggest biomedical research center in London next to King's Cross Station, which has no walls on the inside because they're trying to solve cancer and genomic illness, and it's not going to be the lone scientist shouting eureka. It's going to be the bioinformatics person meeting the data scientist, meeting the visualization expert. The tech world in the West Coast goes to Burning Man every August. It's because they meet people they don't expect to meet. You need to start those conversations. And the third thing, I think it's a really useful thing for a deep industry group like you to do. Meet people who think in a very different way. Get uncomfortable with the people you're hanging out with, not just people from the industry. Because humans, when they challenge each other, and these are not real humans, obviously, they're generated, they can create really fresh ideas. Where they make the autonomous car at Google X, they're obsessed with cognitive diversity. Teams don't just have engineers and physicists. They have a former concert pianist, an expert in origami, because they ask different questions to each other. So go to that crypto conference, go to that human rights event. They're all swimming in the same tech sea as you. They're just finding different ways to solve the problems. So I'm going to leave you with that idea that the tech, that's there, that's a given. It's not technology that's going to slow down these opportunities, it's psychology. It's the problem with us being humans. You will be in that totally autonomous car going to Lisbon Airport, and maybe you'll be a bit resistant.
Oh, this car is coming. Oh, this car is. Whoa.
And I think there's a bit of all of us here. Be a bit less human. Thank you.